Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of You Better Ask Somebody podcast. I'm so fucking serious, bro. But hey guys, welcome back to another episode of You Better Ask Somebody podcast. This is your host Glow, and I hope you guys have been great since the last episode. Yeah. Somebody, yeah. You better ask somebody. I don't think it's focused. Okay, it's focused on me now. Okay, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of You Better Ask Somebody podcast. This is your host, Glow, and I hope you guys have been great since the last episode. Another one, another visual, another banger because the last visual did so great. So that's really nice. I think you guys are always tuning in, liking my shit, all that little razzle dazzle or whatever. But yeah, how have you guys been since the last episode? You guys have been alrighty? One thing I'm going to start with on this episode is 9 times out of 10, it's not about you, and they are projecting. It's not about you, it's never about you, and they're projecting. Do whatever you want to do with that information. I'm not going to elaborate. I will not elaborate farther, but do what you want with that information. Look, I'm in such a good mood today. I don't know why, but I'm really happy. Can you tell? I've been so happy. I've been great. I've been doing amazing. So that's really good for me. And I decided, let me record an episode for the pod because I haven't recorded and I see you guys always ask, listen, for the new listeners, I need y'all to understand. Sometimes I don't drop episodes every week because I think I have to be in the mood to drop an episode. So sometimes I don't really go weekly. And if I'm not in the mood or I feel like I'm going to be repetitive, I'm not going to do it. Like, I have to be going through something and then I'm outside and then something sparks me and I'm like, oh, yeah, that would be a really good episode. Because then, if I just told you guys about my sherehe every weekend, it would be the same loop. Just the same fucking loop, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be repetitive. So sometimes if I miss a week, understand me. Forgive me. Love me. Regardless. But yeah, thank you for everyone who's, sticks around and stays around. I can imagine liking someone who's not consistent. And that's also a topic for today. But we'll get into it. Yesterday someone asked me about my necklace. They asked me about my necklace yesterday. And my necklace is an elephant. I don't want to go so close to the camera because if it loses focus, I'm not going to notice until the end, and then you guys are just going to be watching a bloody me because I don't care to clean it up. I do all this shit on my own, so you can imagine. But yeah, so my necklace, this one, is an elephant, and I always wear it because it's my favorite necklace. One of my old things actually gave me, he said he got it made. I don't know. I've never seen another one like it, so he could be telling the truth. And, he could be telling the truth or he could be lying, which I don't mind. It's okay. Boost my ego as my partner. But yeah, so he told me he made it for me because it was my favorite animal. It's an elephant. And have you guys watched Brother Bear? Brother Bear I didn't know how great it was until I think I got a little bit older. When I was watching it, I was just watching it for the sake of watching it, because you're a child and you're just thinking it's an animation. But the older I got, I was like, oh, this is about reincarnation. And in all honesty, if I could come back in another life, I would want to come back like an animal. And it would have to be between a tiger and an elephant. But mostly an elephant. Like, I would want to be an elephant. Because one, elephants are so intelligent. Their nobility, they're so fucking noble, bro. Like, elephants are textbook me. If I was actually an animal, bro, for real, I would actually be an elephant for real. Like, all their qualities are basically me. Their integrity, bro, how you an animal and you have integrity? Just be an animal. What do you mean? But anyway, yeah. I think, I would definitely be an elephant. I would be a great elephant. But yeah, so if I was to come back as an animal reincarnation, it would definitely easily be an elephant. Yeah. So when we were talking about old things, I just realized I'm such a self-sabotager. Yeah, that's a correct. Is that an actual word that I've used? Yeah, I'm a self-sabotager. I hope so. I hope it's an actual word. Anyway, who cares? Are you gonna lock me up for using improper grammar? No. But anyway, yeah. So, what was the point again? Listen, the ADHD. It be kicking in. Yeah, you see, I'm going to lose the plot now if I start talking about my ADHD. But anyway, yeah. So I would definitely wait. No, 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 no. I was going to go back to the elephant talk. I'm back to the old thing, da, 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 and I'm realizing that I'm a self-sabotager because I had therapy last week, this week, last week. Today's Tuesday. Is it? No, it's Wednesday. So I had therapy last week. I had therapy on Friday. No, 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 no. I did not. I had therapy then this week. Yeah, then so I had therapy yesterday. Bro, can't in my brain. I'm so forgetful. But yeah, I had therapy on Monday after a walk thing that I had. So I had therapy afterwards. Like Monday, I had a full day, and I was really exhausted. And we got to talking about emotional unavailability because I do believe. Well, my therapist noticed it, and I'm very, like I told you guys before. I've said it before, and I think I even have an episode on self-awareness. I am very self-aware. Even my therapist has told me this before. She's told me, oh, you're very self-aware about situations and stuff like that. And yes, I do know. It's just that I don't know how to fix certain things and I don't know how to unlearn certain things. I think that's why I would need therapy and why I need someone to guide me along the way in life, which is why I go for therapy. Because yes, I can tell myself I'm self-aware, but then how am I unlearning and unpacking certain things if I don't have a third eye, which is what I think my therapist is. My therapist is such a really good third eye. So we were talking about emotional unavailability, and she did echo it out. She did say it, and it's not something that I've not known. Being an emotionally unavailable person just means I'm a very unaffectionate person. It doesn't necessarily mean I am, well, people always think that if you're emotionally unavailable, it just means that you're scared of commitment. And also, being emotionally unavailable can come in between your friendships or romantic relationships. It doesn't just necessarily mean romantic relationships alone. And I did notice that I am the least affectionate friend. If you ever saw my friends, I think, yeah, I'm the least. I'm not going to come up and want to hug someone or if you've been following me from Kitambo, I do not. I absolutely do not like hugs. I used to think it's because I thought they were weird. It's because I'm lacking of the emotional. I'm lacking of the emotional, and that's so sad. That's so sad for me. So yeah, we got into the talks of that, and I'm trying to learn how to unlearn that. Because honestly, being emotionally unavailable is not a flex. It's not a flex. It's not a good thing. It's not a healthy thing. It's not. It's not healthy. And if you're tuning into this and you do kind of notice certain characteristics about yourself here, yeah, you are twinning in. So yeah, we're talking about just emotional unavailability, and most of the time you're emotionally unavailable because that's how you were raised. Your caregiver didn't give you the care that you needed. They probably fell short on certain things. They fell short on being emotional and affectionate with you. So then that ended up in you being like me. That ended up to you being like me. And then also, most of the time, I think for men, men are emotionally available because society has taught men to not talk about their emotions, and if you do, you're a bitch. You're a bitch. You bitch. I've caught myself also telling some of my nigga friends, they'd be like, oh, I'll be like, oh, you being a bitch. You being a little weak. And Okay, I might say it as a joke, but society has made that thing an actual thing. Like I might be joking, but also also your jokes kind of have certain effects. Yeah. Am I, yeah, not effects, effects. Yeah, your jokes have certain effects on people too. You might not know it. Even me, sometimes I make jokes. I crack a joke and I'll diss myself, and then later on I'll be like, "Damn, why'd you say that to yourself? Do you mean it?" So yeah, sometimes, as much as we do say, "Oh, I joke about the things you're going through," sometimes, also read between the lines of the jokes. But yeah, so for most guys, they're emotionally unavailable because society has already raised them like that. Like guys, when we were kids, they were not allowed to cry you in the playground, and then you fall down. You have to tighten up. Like hizo machozi kuwa unafaa kushikilia because ukilia bro, hata sasa unapigwa na your homies because your homies are like the game is giving weak bitch, and it's like they turned into your parents are like, okay, now they're giving you something to cry about because your homies are seeing you falling down and you're crying. So now it's like, okay, let's give him something to cry about. Actually, being a child is so weird. It was fun and wholesome, but also weird when you remember some certain things. It's like, why did we do that to each other? Why? But anyway, before I lose the plot, yeah, for most men, they're emotionally unavailable because of what society has taught them, and then also on top of that, lacking emotional whatever from caregivers and everything. Now, I asked this question one time at a function. I'm always the type of person when I get drunk, I want to know certain stuff. I want to know what people are thinking, and I also want to know what people are going through. Like, I think sometimes I bring in my therapy sessions to the function because I'm like, okay, my therapist asked me this. Let me ask these niggas this and see what their answer would be. So we were at the function and I was like, there were a bunch of women there who I did not know. So I was like, this is the best time to ask this question. I was like, trigger warning. I'm talking about absent fathers and present fathers. So us fatherless children, I know it might trigger you a little bit. But yeah, nimesema trigger warning. Like I said it. I said it before I proceeded. So trigger warning, this is about fathers. So just know, trigger warning, fathers, dads. So I asked and I was like, do you think life would have been different for you? Well, I asked people like, who here has a present father and who here has a present father who's still a shit dad? Because your dad could be there, but he's still a shit dad. It's like he's there and he doesn't even know how old you are or whatever. Like, yeah. So that also can play with your emotions as well. So yeah, I asked how many people here like have a dad. And everyone was like, yeah, I have a dad. My dad is alive. I do have a dad. Okay, then I said, who has a present father? Like, the father is involved in their lives. And it was this one person who said, yeah, my dad is involved in my life. My dad is my best friend. And I noticed all of us were looking at her like, who asked you anyway? I did ask her. But we all gave her that look of, okay, you didn't have to brag about it. You could have just said, yes, your dad is present. Nobody asked about him being your best friend. But anyway, no, I'm joking. That's good for her. But so then from there I already clocked and I already knew, okay, the other ones are just like me. We're cool. So then I asked how many people's dads are not present, and then that was the rest of all of us. Now, for me, my situation is I'm definitely a fatherless child because growing up my dad was not in my life, and then he came into my life like, say, when I finished high school, my dad came into my life. And it was on and off. Also, he's kind of a little bit guilty there. My dad could see this. My mom could see this. Who cares? I'm telling the truth. I'm not lying. So, me, my grandma could see this. But yeah, anyway. So then my dad came back into my life when I was like in high school. So, when I was done with high school, when I was starting uni. My dad was never there. He never helped my mom with school fees. He never helped my mom buy us presents. When my mom was buying us things like PS or whatever, that was all her. When my mom was paying school fees, that was all her. When she was buying uniform, that was all her. And then this nigga came into the picture after we finished, when we're in uni now and all that. And it's like he's trying to overcompensate for things, but then we already now lack that emotional emotional want. Like, I don't care at this point. Like, it's, oh, you're existing, cool. That's nice for you. That, you're going on. So it didn't make me feel like, oh wow, da, 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 because I think already there's just that thing that you lack. And I feel like for daughters, 9 times out of 10, I think we need our dads. You do need a present. Like, anyway, let me get to the point of my question. So then I asked the people who I asked the people like me, my twin names, my triplets, because now we were 3 of us. I asked my other triplets, do you guys feel like if you had a present father in your life, like when I say present, I mean someone who cares, someone who's, this is like a dad-daughter bond. If you had that in life, do you think like things would have been different for you? And of course the answer was yes from everyone. And I feel like life would be very different if I did have a present father, because I feel like even my choice in men, one sign to know that you're emotionally unavailable is that you're attracted to people who are like, you're attracted to that type of person, to an emotionally unavailable person. You're like, oh, this is way easy and great for me because you guys already share a bond. And you know what the bond what the bond is? The bond is basically I don't know why I always do that. The bond is basically that there will be no commitment. There's no commitment, and there's no, the goal is no emotional vulnerability. That is the goal, because already you don't know how to do that, and you're not really great at doing that, and you're not really interested in doing it. So that's basically the one thing that you share. So you meet someone like that and you're like, oh, that is perfect. So that is number one sign to know that you are an emotionally unavailable person. Because if that attracts you, you're attracting what's you. There's some truth to you attract what you are, but then also I don't fully believe you attract what you are. Sometimes I do also believe you attract what you could heal, because someone is seeing, someone is feeling the energy that you've got could fix what they've got. So sometimes I do feel like you attract what you can heal, and also you attract what you are. Still, I don't know. There's a bit of a conflict when it comes to those things. But 9 times out of 10, when you are attracted to an emotionally unavailable person, it's because you think it's easy, because then now you know that you don't have to be vulnerable. And you see it all the time. Wait, what was the point of why we got? Oh yeah. So now I was like, I am most of the guys that I've been with. Fine, yeah. It doesn't mean that a guy being emotionally unavailable means that he's nonchalant or he doesn't care, because now that's where you get it wrong too. Some of you are dating men who don't care about you. No, that's not what it means. It just means that when situations are going to get thick and it's going to get difficult, and conversations are going to have to be hard and shit like that, which is also where I have a conflict with myself, because I do tend to think that I'm emotionally unavailable. It's just that I am also ready to have a conversation, to have an uncomfortable conversation. Like, I also don't tend to want to run away, but sometimes I do. Sometimes it's like, you know what, fuck it. Like 9 times out of 10, you catch me running away. 9 times out of 10, it's so easy for me to walk away from stuff. Like, I don't really care. I don't really commit. I don't really, it's like, oh, this has happened. I don't even want to address it. I'll just walk. And that also sometimes also scares my friends, because my friends are like, oh, if they do something the wrong way, I'll just be like a meme. And I disappear. And I just disappear, because it's not a good habit, but I am aware that I've done it a couple of times. And most of the time it's always someone who really cares about you, who mostly come back and, They'll be like, oh, I want to fix it at this point. Like, I do get that you're like this. People who are understanding also piss me off. Why are you so understanding? Because they're looking at you and they're telling you the truth. They're like, I get why you did that. I get why you did that, but can we fix it? Can we talk? Because you really mattered to me, and now you're making me even feel shittier. You're making me feel like, nah, I'm just a horrible person. Because why did I, just up and leave you like that? Why do I look like I'm sorted? Why did I just up and leave you like that? Because as much as fine you are emotionally unavailable, you're also aware that you're hurting someone's feelings. It's not that you're not aware of these things. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. But yeah, so then I did say, yeah, life would have been way different. I feel like I feel like I'd have even given out more hugs. The fact that I say I don't like hugs, I feel like that's a very deep rooted thing. Like, before I didn't understand it. Like, I would go to school and someone is coming to you, hey, whoa, bag it up, turn it around, don't do that, don't get too close. Why would you do that? And it's not even just with friends, even with partners. It's like, oh, someone wants to cuddle, and I'm like, ugh, it's too hard to cuddle. Like, what do you mean cuddle? I'm like, it's too hard or it's too awkward. Like, where's my hand supposed to go? What am I supposed to fucking do? I'm not like Care Bear warm. I'm not gonna be the person to initiate all that bullshit. I'm not gonna be. We could be intimate and I will turn around and go to sleep. Like, I see you in the morning. See you in the morning. But yeah, because I don't know. Because I just thought, maybe I just don't like to be touched. Maybe that's not my love language. It definitely is not my love language. And then I started thinking of, what was I thinking of? I started thinking of how sometimes when I'm having conversations and stuff and they do involve emotion, I get very anxious. I'm like, oh, ooh, I could almost have a panic attack sometimes. And I used to think that was my escape Didi, like, oh, they wanna fake it, oh, you, and it's me, but oh, they wanna fake it, oh, you, kuna mambo yake. But no, I do tend to feel really heavy when I have to talk about my emotions and stuff like that. But this one we all have to agree. Let me actually stray a bit from the topic. I'm straying a bit from the topic and I'm going to ask, do you guys find it so awkward? You could be chilling with someone, and my friends like to do this all the time. I'm sorry, I'm putting it. Whoever does this knows they ignore themselves. So we could be chilling. Actually, today my homie came to pick me up from somewhere, and we were in the car, and she asked me, oh, but you know how you doing mentally? And it was such a serious question, and I was like, why would you? I even said, I was like, no, we're not doing that. Like, come on, man, for real. I was like, no. I was like, what do you mean? How am I was like, that was such an intense question. I was like, sometimes you just want to live, even when you're doing shitty, you don't want someone to ask you. It's like, I'm okay doing shitty. Like, I don't need to say it. I don't need to discuss it, and I don't need to talk about it, and I don't need to, sometimes you just want to. And it's healthy. Please, do not listen to me. That's why I'm in therapy. I'm in therapy to save people like you guys who are listening to me, who are probably thinking that it's okay. It's not okay. Because you're going to crash eventually. But yeah, so I started thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm the least most affectionate. Like, I could chill with someone for a month and I will not ask you how you are. Because then we have to have that conversation of, oh, how are you though? And then now when the story is flipped on me, I think I would rather listen to someone's emotions than my own. That's why I'm telling you, I feel like I'm half, if there's such a thing, like I'm half emotionally unavailable. I'm just half, because if it's listening to someone else, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that I can do, and I can offer solutions in whatever I'm really good at. I'm really good at talking about these things when they're not about me. But when you ask me, but girl, how are you? Nah, Come on now. What are you trying to do? Even the FBI can't get this out of me. How am I? No, I'm not telling you. And I'm just realizing now I'm contradicting myself because in the beginning I said I'm doing really great. But yeah, I'm doing really great. You could tell I'm happy. You could tell I'm happy. You could tell. I look it. I look the part. I look the part. I look the part. Listen, I have so much fun doing these YouTube visuals. I think I was talking about something and I'm hoping I remember. But wait, isn't it Prince? I'm hoping. But yeah, so I've been doing really great, and that's good for me because I did. There was a time last week, that week for Jamieson, and the next week, about those 2 weeks, I was not doing great, but now I'm amazing. I'm perfect. But yeah, so I do feel like there would have been a difference if I had a father who is there, because I think when both of your parents are are present, and I mean both your parents being present in a happy way, if both of your parents are building each other, I don't think there's a way there could be, and well, maybe there could be other problems, but I do feel like if your parents are doing great and are healthy with each other, I'm not saying that, oh, I blame my mom for not being with my dad, because if for her it wasn't a healthy situation, so definitely she had to put herself first. Lucius, fuck them kids, them kids in question. But yeah, so she had to put herself first because I guess being with my dad was not healthy, and so they weren't together, and that made me grow up with a split family. And it doesn't make it any better if your parents are together and they're not happy. I feel like you still also lack that emotional whatever. But I still do feel like now that I'm aware of all this, and I know, do you know, I know what's me. I feel like I would try to be a bit different if I did have kids in the future. I think the fact that I'm emotionally aware, I always say the best thing that you can have in life is knowledge. I said this on my previous episodes. I think I was listening to a J. Cole episode on a podcast, and he said that the one thing that he would want for his kids is for them to be is for them to know things that he knows now at an early age. Like if you are aware of certain things, certain emotions, you just have the knowledge of things. Like let's say even when you were 15, bro, by the time we hit 20, I don't think shit can phase you. I mean, there's always just new things and stuff that will phase you along the way. But you having the head start on a lot of things would really be great. And that's why I'm always recommending and saying that I'm definitely going to have a more open relationship with my kids, because the fact that I'm also just going to therapy has opened my mind so much and taught me a lot, that I'm like, oh shit, this shit has to be passed down. Like my kids are not gonna go through what the fuck I went through. And no, they're not. They're gonna have a really, really great life. Like even if I can't give them certain things, the knowledge that I can give them from my emotional awareness, from my whatever type of awareness it is that I have, I think that's already a great start, and that's already being a great parent. I think, like, what's being a great parent? Nobody knows. Nobody is perfect and nobody's great at it. But I feel like that one small thing that I can give them would make me feel so proud of myself being a parent, and I'll be like, okay, at least I gave them that. At least on top of anything else, at least I gave them that. But yeah, so I do feel like if both of my parents were, there, like it would be different. It might not be at a huge different. Maybe I wouldn't be funny though. The trauma is what made me funny. So maybe. Oh damn, nasingefikiria kuanzisha podcast because I'd have been a great child. I'd have been healed. Oh, my kids are gonna have to be book smart, because now if I'm making them, they're gonna have to be doctors or some shit. Because clearly, my kids are not gonna be traumatized. They're gonna have perfect lives. Wait, is there any comedian that they were watching stand-up comedy and the people who don't like stand-up comedy? And that shit baffles me every time. So watching Ew. This is so invasive. I'm just in your faces. Like, I said, get over here. But yeah, we're watching stand-up comedy, and the people who don't like stand-up comedy. And usually, if someone tells me they don't like a podcast, I'm like, okay, a podcast does take time, and you have to listen. My comedy, bro, you're laughing. You don't like stand up? What do you mean? I mean, you're just not smart enough to clock the jokes fast enough. Because, stand up comedy, the jokes are going back to back. I feel like people who don't like stand up are the same people who also don't like subtitles. Just say you can't read, bro. Just say you're daft. One thing that scares me in life that I've just discussed right now is having children, though. I feel like life is the world on its own, bruh. This is an evil world we live in. And before when you were younger, you would not think about it. Fine, yeah, our parents have to do a lot. On top of them, keeping us in check, keeping us in tune with our emotions, just all these things of raising you right emotionally. They also have to save you from the actual world. And that shit is crazy. Sometimes I even take two of my birth control pills. I'm like, whoa. Why would I do that to a little someone? Because no, this world is actually very scary. You can imagine your child going outside. There's this speaking of stand-up comedy, the one that we were watching actually, this guy said, this guy is normally out of pocket. He's normally out of pocket. I like him. But sometimes I'm like, what if he's masking his jokes and he's actually a serial killer or a pedophile and doing some shit? This is how they normally, they're a pedophile, you're a police, he's a cop, you're a rapist, he's a cop, and you're thinking, nah, he's the most loved cop in town. He wouldn't do that. There was a movie I actually watched that was like that. It's called G Shadow. It's called G Summer of 84. Like, that's Kitambo 1984. But yeah, summer of 84 or something like that. And basically the cop is the killer in town, but he's so great and he's so loved by everyone. Like, the people have known him ever since they're, when their kids were babies, and now their kids are like teenagers and stuff. So they're thinking, oh, this is such a great neighbor, and he's a cop. He's always been there taking care of your house. Come on, this guy is killing people, and when he kills people, he's taking out the pictures and putting them in his house. Bruh. And then he was like, oh, that's his family, but his family is out of town. So eventually one of the neighbor kids notices and he's like, oh no, these are his victims, bro. And then he caught him, but the guy got away. He hid and then came back to his house in the middle of the night and kidnapped him and took him to the woods, him and his best friend, and killed his best friend and said, this is because of you. And then he said, I'm not going to kill you. I want you to always look over your shoulder and imagine that one day I'm coming to kill you. And until the day that you're tired and sick and tired of it, I will just... And I said, damn. I kind of respect it. I respect. Like, I'm not making it easy for you. You will always, always remember me. You snitched on me, you'll always remember me. Like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you one of these days. That to me, that was really cool. And he let him go. Like Alimacha too. Alimacha Nayo thought of every day you will live in fear. And I think that's the biggest fuck you. That's the biggest, that's the big bruh. Anyway, so the point is, I'm saying having kids is so insane. Because this guy now made a joke. What's his name again? I forgot him, but he's a white guy and he's always making out-of-pocket jokes. Like, even his closing was him talking about how his family has been getting death threats because of his jokes and stuff like that, and he's not great. And he was like, if anything in this life happens to the people that he loves, and it was because of his jokes, that would be great. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you never expect the things that he says for him to say. But then at this point, if you're already, like you said, if you already know he's going to be out of pocket, so you're kind of already expecting the out of pocket city. So anyway, he says, have you guys ever Googled how many pedophiles are near you? And he was like, bro, the dots look like chicken pox. Hi. Bro. First of all, are they even allowed to be next to each other? Because what do you mean they're just on the map, just all of them together. And it's actually so true. Actually, pause right now. Pause this video right now and Google pedophiles or child molesters and stuff like that. Mostly in the outsides. Like if you're Googling like Massachusetts or Washington or Texas. Bruh. That shit look like measles. That shit is crazy. It's actually very crazy. And I'm like, you're just existing. You know, your child is just existing, and someone is looking at them like, hey, yo, nyama, scrumdly, yum, yum, purr, purr. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? My child is just outside. My hair. My child is just outside having fun. And you decide, nah, I want that ass. I'm gonna tear that ass out. Hey! No, I feel like I would constantly have a collar on my child. Like, that's inhumane. But I would have a collar on their neck. Like, I'll be so stressed. I'll be so stressed. Like, your child, you know, they could be kidnapped for sexual acts. They could be kidnapped for their organs, because most of these organs want healthy, whatever, healthy young organs and stuff. And your child is just a walking, hey, umemlisha vizuri bana, kwanza the chunky kids, you know those chubby ones kwa your store, hey, in danger. It's not even funny. It's not even funny because it's actually a thing that happens, and that shit is very scary. Like, it's so easy. And we were also having this conversation one time with my friends. And you know, almost all of us have almost been kidnapped when we were kids. I was almost kidnapped when I was a baby. My mom told me the story. She told me she was going to church and she really needed to pee. And she went to the bathroom and she gave some lady to hold me. But in the midst of her going to the bathroom, she was like, nah, fuck it. She could hold it. So she didn't even enter the bathroom. She just like ingiad kidogo and then went back outside. When she goes back outside, the lady is running away with me. She's running to the gate. She had to like yell for the watchman, tell her, stop, that's my baby. Bruh. Ningekuwa somewhere. Have you guys watched Mara Clara when you're swapped for, like, imagine being swapped and then you're swapped into a rich family, and then later on your family comes for you. Your family comes for you and they're poor. Listen, mom, we don't even know each other that much. Like, at this point, unanitaka juu ya nini? Come on now. You're saying I'm living great. If you're a great mom, you would let me continue living in this house. What are you coming back for me for? We don't know each other like that. I don't know you like that. What do you want from me? Listen. There's no way. I'm sorry. You've already collared privilege, and then someone wants to take the privilege away from you. And that would be a really big fuck you from the universe. Like, I think I would just be aggressively angry every single day of my life. I think I have a lash in my eye. I'll be aggressively mad every single day. I'd be aggressively mad every single day of my life, because there's no way you're telling me, cool, you could do that. Me, no, I'm not about to do that. But yeah, anyway, having a child right now is crazy. The fuck, it's a sad day for Buddhists, and I'm a Buddhist. The Dalai Lama, this nigga sucking a child's tongue. You know, that shit always baffles me. Like, how are you looking at a child and you're like... But you know, men, there's this thing that men like... The more that you look like a child, the more men will be attracted to you. Like, 9 times out of 10, you go outside and you ask a nigga their type, they will tell you, oh, they want someone who's 5 foot even, just 5 foot. And you know, they'll be like, her shoe size has to be a size 3. You want a baby. Sorry, you want a baby. And do you? But yeah. And then now there's men who just take it seriously and they become pedophiles. And you know, it's deep-rooted in them. It's a man thing. But now there's some of it there are guys who now take it to the extremes. It's like, also this time I was looking, is my eye red now? It's like this time I was looking at fetishes. Is my eye red? I can't tell. Yeah, I was looking at fetishes, and there's some weird fetishes in there. There are some very weird fetishes, and I feel like all this also comes down to just how. Sometimes we really like to like blame how we were raised and everything, and that shit is annoying. Sometimes you're talking about something and then someone tells you, it has to do with your background, and that shit is triggering. But sometimes it's sort of like, apparently, even the fact that fetishes are passed down. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what my mom be doing. I don't even want to know what my fetish is when I found that out. I don't think I've discovered my fetish yet because I am a virgin, and on top of being a virgin, also, yeah, there's nothing more on top of being a virgin. You're just a virgin. I was about to, when you talk too much, I do not use. But yeah, so yeah, and I don't want to know, and I didn't need to know that because I think that also kind of ruined sex for me. A lot of things ruin things for me. Like the first time I watched porn, every time I tell people that I don't watch porn because I am very uncomfortable with porn, they don't get it. And I wish one day I could tell you guys a story. It's not anything weird though. It's just that the first time I watched porn, it ruined it for me. So it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna get in. And that you guys can enjoy it though. You guys can have fun though, not me. But yeah. So this episode was basically just me explaining to you guys about emotional unavailability and how I think we need to strive to not. I think society has also made being emotionally unavailable look cool, and it's really not. Being someone who is, sometimes you do want to talk about things, and like I said, I do get anxious when I'm talking about certain things, and it sucks. It's like, ugh, like get over it. Come on, you're an adult. But it's not even a matter of being an adult. It's just a matter of this is how I was raised, and I was not raised to show affection. I was not raised to show, you know, whatever. Because my mom never did that. My mom had strict parents. One, my dad was not the best as well. He was also like mean to my mom. So even her, she doesn't. Even her, she's an emotional and available person, and sometimes even I see her really trying. She will come and tell me something, and it's like, oh, I'm seeing your pussy in the effort. You really look like you're struggling to tell me this, but I appreciate the fact that you're coming out of your comfort zone to do all that. Even the fact that she's okay with me, she's the one who actually pays for my therapy sessions. So the fact that I could even go to my mom and tell my mom, bro, I think I have a problem, and I think therapy would fix it. Like I would, as much as want to talk to you, but then also if I talk to you, it might. You could be more aggressive with me than more factual with me because I could say something and you're going to be like, oh, so you're saying I ruined you? Nah, you created a comedian. But but yeah, so the fact that she's also open and welcoming with all these things when I tell her, it's a great step. It's a great step. And I don't know, I did bring it up to my mom. I did the episode I did with Kiki, and I brought it up to my mom, and I told my mom, maybe, and I said it like a joke. I said, maybe we should go for a therapy session together and just to see what it'd be like. And she was like, yeah. I said, wait, jokes. Hey, just kidding, baby. Just kidding. You already done enough. You're already paying for it. I don't want you to stop paying for it when I start telling you the truth. You know, you can hit me with this is how you feel. Well, let's see who's going to pay for the therapy sessions because therapy is actually so expensive. But let me tell you guys, there's actually free therapy. I've just never done it, and I don't know how good it would be. If it was a weird. But I think these needs like Red Cross have a. Red Cross, I know for sure, has one. They have a line, and you can book your sessions. I think they're 30 minutes, only 30 minutes. I don't think you can book for more than that because there's other people booking. And I'm assuming because there's other people booking, you could be told, oh, I'm not available today, but I'm available this other day, and it might clash with maybe if you have school or work or whatever. But yeah, that's why I think the free one's a bit. But if it works for you and if you could get booking time, maybe you book way early prior and stuff like that. Like you start booking over the weekend for like a Wednesday or Tuesday session. I think you could be lucky. So yeah, if you're not looking to go through the lens of paying for therapy, or maybe you just also want to experiment and just see, there are people who don't believe in therapy, and I feel like if you want to experiment, you don't want to pay for something while you're experimenting it. So yeah, I think also one day I'm gonna try and actually do the red crusting. I'll actually do the red crusting and I'll record it. Yeah, I'll see how I can do that. I'll do the call for it's 30 minutes. That's like a podcast episode. I could do that, and I'll just post it for you guys to see what it's like. Also for people who don't care to go through the extra mile of finding out. I know Daco, so I'm a little bit nosy. I'm a little bit nosy when it comes to things that I actually do like and I'm interested in. I'm not nosy with the old people's lives and stuff like that. Nah, that one I don't give a fuck. But yeah, guys, thank you again for tuning in. I don't know if I got the point across about anything. All I said was before I did, all I said was, yeah, being emotionally unavailable is not a cool thing. Society makes us think a lot of things are cool. Like also my previous episode, I was talking about hookup culture, and I don't think hookup culture is not cool. Only for the fact that there are certain things and certain things that we do in life that stunt your growth. And I feel like hookup culture is one of the things that stunts your growth because you're already accustomed to a very unhealthy behavior. Now, picking up a habit is way easier than dropping said habit. So, if you're finding it, I'm just saying, to each their own. But I would not recommend hookup culture. I would recommend just doing you until you find the person that you want to do you with. Do you, bro. You should do any trigger. Damn, I said something that I felt triggered me to someone. And I think this is also one of my emotionally available people that I like. Okay, I don't like him. I don't know what it is. And I said something that I didn't like. And it wasn't a conversation at that point. I turned around and responded, and he was like, "Oh, this is low coming from you. Like I wouldn't expect that." And he said a lot of things, and I felt like, "Oh damn, are you gaslighting me? You're kind of gaslighting me to make me feel like I'm wrong for telling you something that I don't like." And that's also another reason why I'm just emotionally unavailable. I think I meet people who tend to shut me down whenever sometimes I do want to speak about things. So then it's like I don't want to do it, and I also then start to feel like, oh, when you want to speak to me about things, it's maybe because it's benefiting you, so maybe I shouldn't do it. Like I start overthinking and just maybe you could be genuine, but then I don't care. It's like you want to do that to me too eventually. Like today you're telling me be emotionally da da da, and then next week you're going to tell me, but who the fuck asked you to open up? Oh, that's and then now if I start shooting up people's houses, I'm going to jail. Crazy. But but yeah. Yeah. Just strive to fix that shit. The first step of course of everything is just being aware of who you are, what you do, and stuff like that. And every day trying to unlearn things. I think the easiest way of trying to unlearn things is the easy peasy fake it till you make it. I think you have to force yourself into doing stuff that you don't like, gaslight yourself into doing things that you don't like, get out of your comfort zone of certain things, start speaking up more and stuff like that. Even when you do get shut down, you gotta keep going. People who shut you down also, it's just their own problem. It has, like I said at the episode, I said 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you. That phrase alone goes for a lot of things, whether it's your friendship, whether it's your whatever. 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you. You're not always the problem. And that's also another thing. You could tend to think you're the problem because, you spoke up about your emotions and stuff like that. And you're thinking, maybe I should shut up more and not. And that is also going to create another emotionally unavailable person. And you should not do that. 100% you should not do that. But anyway, yeah, guys. So like I said, fake it till you make it. One thing I also learned about life was just gaslighting my way through life. Growing up, there were certain insecurities and things that I had, but I would easily gaslight myself and tell myself, "Oh, that's not true." Fake it till you make it. I would say certain things. I would just gaslight myself into believing a certain narrative about myself. Be delusional. Be delusional with sense. That's actually the best thing to say for all this. Be delusional with sense. Gaslight yourself, be delusional until you believe it. Like you could say something so much to yourself until you believe it. So yeah, because when my therapist was telling me certain things, I decided, yeah, I'm gonna have to gaslight myself to believe these things. Saying it is easier said than done. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to start gaslighting myself into believing certain things so I can unlearn certain things about my behavior. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I had so much fun recording this. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my face for like, I was zooming to the camera. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my face for like 50 minutes. That's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. Like I said the last episode, if you got 50 minutes in, you don't hate me. You don't hate me, sis. You like me. Let's go out on a date. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, you can find me, if you want to discuss this episode more, you can find me on Instagram at glowful_, Twitter glow_full. The podcast page on Instagram is you better ask somebody _ and of course the podcast page on YouTube is you better ask somebody podcast. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. I really also enjoyed recording this episode. This was a very fun episode for me. If you can tell, I've been smiling all through, honestly, because I'm just in a good mood, guys. Bye until next time.